Now at 10, the city of Joplin bestows the honor of a street renaming on a longtime resident. Plus, Kansas farmers try to protect their livestock against bird flu. And a dairy farmer in Kansas says he was milked out of the business.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin honors one man's public service with a ceremonial street naming. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. J.D. Love is a lifelong Joplin resident and served in a variety of public service roles for decades. Love served as a Joplin police officer for 28 years and was Jasper County coroner for 2 terms following his retirement. Today, Love was recognized with a ribbon cutting and street sign unveiling on McKee Street, where Love grew up. The tribute was organized by Easttown Dreams District in partnership with the city of Joplin, and more than 100 people came to celebrate Love's commitment to the community.
He is just what you would call a true legacy in Joplin, a true legend in Joplin.
You know what? That makes me feel great. Yeah, because as an officer, I've met all kind of people, you know, and seeing this make me, I must have done something right.
Love's signs will be added to the existing signs along McKee Street as a ceremonial naming. Residents will not have to change their addresses. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for our first look at the weather.
All right, so a hot one for us today, right up around 90 degrees, actually officially 90. Average high is 87, so just a smidge above where we should be. We started out at 71 during the morning hours. Temperature is still pretty warm, 78 in Carthage, 80 in Anderson, Fort Scott 78, Welch at 79, Neodesha still sitting at 80 degrees, and we still kind of have a heat index, kind of in that 80 to about 85 degree range. We've been watching a couple little thunderstorms that have popped up over the past few hours. These are going to die down pretty quick, but over toward Yates Center, Fredonia, Eureka, there's been a few isolated showers or a few random little thunderstorms. Through the night, most of us dry. Slide back through the 70s, overnight low down to 70. But look at this, back to 81 by 10 a.m. and the heat increases. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
See you soon. We keep hearing about the bird flu, and it seems to have a lot of different names. The highly pathogenic avian influenza, or HPAI for short, is actually a strain of the H5N1 avian flu. It's currently spreading in the U.S., Europe, and in Asia. Both wild birds and domestic poultry have been affected, along with cases found in several wild animals and a few cats. This spring, we started hearing about infections in dairy cattle, including 4 herds in Kansas. There have also been cases reported in humans who had been in contact with sick dairy cows in 3 states. Kansas implemented strict movement rules for lactating cows that require both a certificate of veterinarian inspection and a negative milk test. While the state's dairy herds seem to be in the clear now, Kansas health officials don't want to take any chances.
This virus in the dairy world is a little bit unique in the fact of the way it's responding. And so we're trying to understand that better. But we do know that it's moving from herd to herd. And so, you know, the biosecurity component of it, monitoring how you're moving cattle, our recommendations are if you don't have to move cattle, don't move cattle at this point in time until we can understand it better.
In the last 5 years, the state of Kansas has lost more than a quarter of its dairy farms. But on the flip side, the number of cows in the remaining herds are increasing. KOAM's Tanya Bach looks into the shift and introduces us to a now former dairy farmer who says he was milked out of the business.
Dang, you're 70 years old, so there. I know you invested $3 million or $4 million, whatever you want to invest in having a big tombstone, I guess, basically.
The tombstone Richard Amershak is referring, his livelihood for over 50 years, the Amershak Dairy.
Back then, it was kind of do pretty good at it. People just started out just, milking an old barn somewhere. Then they got the health regulations got so stringent, you had to pretty much build a new barn and pretty good facilities.
In 1974, Amershak and his brother built their new dairy barn.
We turned them out in nice weather. That way it'd be off concrete. Concrete's hard on cattle. And concrete's hard on everybody.
They started with 100 cows and eventually built their herd up to milking 150 cows every day, 16 at a time.
You're there every day. If you're not there, somebody's got to be there.
No matter if it's a holiday or if Mother Nature decides to be a friend or foe.
20 below or 120 above, or the wind blowing 50 miles an hour north or 50 miles an hour to the south, you're just there.
The occupation of running a dairy herd is labor intensive. And so the fact that, that a lot of our families that used to be dairy, that had the family at home that was doing that, they've had to do other things. They've had to go out and get other jobs, or the kids have moved off and haven't come back to the farm.
Did you have any kids that were interested?
I didn't have nobody. I never been married. Nobody'd have me. I'm going to die a lonely, happy old man.
Hammershak says it wasn't just the labor that wore on he and his brother.
The milk company that buy your milk are more picky than the state inspectors. I mean, if you happen to find any antibiotics in your milk, you have to buy the whole truckload.
As we see these dairies become larger, they have the ability to do it more efficiently and more economically than some of our smaller dairies have. And so it is one of those things that we are seeing. The number of dairies that we're seeing across our state is diminishing, but the number of cows is not.
We just hung everything up, even after the last ticket there. We just hung everything up and walked off.
Oh, so this was the last load that went out? This one here?
Yeah, just a partial load.
October 2021, 742 pounds headed to a processor in Springfield.
I think maybe about this gate over here.
Knowing the bigger farms were milking out his chances of retiring exclusively as a dairy farmer, about 15 years ago, Amershek started to diversify. He runs a few beef cattle and leases the majority of his land for hunting.
I'd have to replace everything. That'd run several $1,000,000 So I decided just to spend the rest of my life on booze and women. So
closing the dairy farm chapter of Amershek's life and hopefully turning the page to a little relaxation. Reporting in McCune, Kansas, Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
In 2018, Kansas had 280 dairy farms with 158,000 milking cows. Today, there are only 209 dairies, but the number of dairy cows that's increased to 175,000. Students in Joplin take part in a different kind of summer school today, thanks to KCU Medical School. That story's coming up. But up first, a 60-year-old newspaper tells stories in black and white for a community of color. We have a breaking news story for you that's developing right now. Joplin Fire and Police are on the scene of a serious crash at 7th and Maiden Lane. It happened around 9:20 p.m. So far, 5 patients are being transported to area hospitals with unknown injuries. Joplin Police tell KOAM Shannon Becker on the scene there are 2 vehicles involved. They asked everyone to avoid the area. Look for more information on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, and on the KOAM Morning News. Juneteenth is a chance to learn how African Americans helped shape the U.S. It's the work of a weekly newspaper in Sacramento. It's been doing that for more than 60 years. Hunter Sowards has that story.
On the pages of Black and White, the Sacramento Observer is sharing stories of the African American community in vibrant color.
The history of the Black press stands on the credo of no one else will speak for us. We want to plead our own cause.
That's Larry Lee. His father, Dr. William Hanford Lee, realized no one was speaking for the Black community in 1962. Over the next decade, the Observer built a reputation as the nation's best Black newspaper. That legacy still stands today.
African Americans obviously need to be able to be seen and recognized for our contributions to this country.
It's about educating the community, and holidays like Juneteenth, well, they're a great way of reaching a wider audience.
I'm hoping that we can, as a greater community, outside of the African American community, but as a nation, have a better conversation.
Conversations, Larry says, that are steps toward righting wrongs.
The healing and the reparations of the relationship between African Americans and this country related to slavery is not for our benefit, it's really for others' benefit. It's for their ability to be able to say, we have addressed this as a nation.
Managing editor Angelica Obioha joined in 2021.
The Black experience is larger than the trauma or the issues or just being disenfranchised. There's joy, there's all the ways that we exist.
Through the years, the paper has pivoted to the digital age, from print to screen, adapting like they always have to tell stories beyond the black and white. Hunter Sowards, CBS News, Sacramento.
The death of the paper's founder, Dr. Lee, followed by the COVID pandemic, almost sank the Sacramento Observer, but it made a comeback and is still publishing every Thursday. Kansas City University in Joplin today showed some high school students what it takes to work in the medical field. The day-long MASH camp event introduced 9th through 12th graders to different healthcare career options with plenty of hands-on learning. Students got to tour the facilities, the various labs, everything from the emergency room to ambulances to a mock operating room.
We are on day 2 of our summer MASH camp, and so MASH camp is basically just an opportunity for high school students, preferably, to stay engaged with the sciences and healthcare career options, and we just kind of like to give them some opportunities to get in the hospital or to get in the facilities, get their hands dirty, see what different departments are like and things that they would potentially be doing.
Event organizers hope to encourage high school students to get into the medical field in rural Missouri, where there's a shortage of both physicians and dentists. A little bit later, some McDonald County students take in a different kind of summer school, one that involves boats made of cardboard. We'll explain.
And of course, those temperatures are going to be going up. We're going to be looking at that coming up. It was definitely hot and humid outside for us today. Temperatures right around 90 during the afternoon. We have had a few isolated thunderstorms in our western counties, but most of us have been dry. We could actually use a little bit of rain by this point in time. My yard, I can see some little brown spots, so we could use a little bit. Nice shot. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. Let's go outside. You can see a few isolated little thunderstorms which have kind of popped up. This is mainly in our western counties. It's not a very big deal. These are just light to moderate showers, but you can see most of us, we are dry across the region, but some spotty showers once you get out across Elk County, one little guy just southwest of Yates Center, and then they stretch up toward Emporia and then just west of Kansas City. This is all due to some tropical moisture which has been kicking in. Look at the upper level winds. You can see the rain in Texas. So some of this, just a little bit, gets vected up and gives us some spotty little showers. Now, just south of that, we have our first tropical storm of the year down in the western Gulf of Mexico, but this is going to push west right across the country of Mexico, right through central Mexico. All right, let's go through time for us tonight. We're going to drop back near 70 for an overnight low. As we go through the morning hours, partly sunny skies, mid 80s by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, very slight chance there could be a random shower, but most of us right around 90. Let's go about 88 in Nevada, 90 in Anderson, Chanute, right around 90 degrees. Very similar to what we saw today. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies again. We back down lower 70s. And then as we go into Friday, a little bit hotter. I think most of us 91, 92, maybe 93 degrees by the time we head into Friday afternoon. And then Friday night, not quite as cool as we're only back down into lower 70s for overnight lows. Day planner for you Thursday, 74 to start, 86 by noon. High temp near 90 as we go into the afternoon hours. And our heat indices, they're going to be up there again. I think most of us are going to sit in that range of, 91, 92 to about 94 degrees. And then even on Friday, we're going to see those heat indices into lower 90s, and then they'll drop back off as we go into Friday evening. Let's look at the weekend. Here's our next chance for rain. It doesn't have a lot of moisture, but hopefully we can get something in here. Cold front slides in Saturday night, scattered showers and thunderstorms. If these guys can develop, they could be a little bit stronger, maybe even low-grade severe late on Saturday. Move out Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, we warm into the 90s, lower 90s. Monday, we go into the mid-90s. So this is when our heat indices get above 100 degrees. And then again, on Tuesday, we're going to go into the mid-90s. So it gets much hotter next week. 90 tomorrow is the summer solstice. Summer begins. High temp at 90, 92 on Friday, 94 on Saturday, and then mid to upper 90s most of next week.
More daylight tomorrow than for any other time in the year.
I know.
It's shorter and shorter and shorter. Thanks, Doug. On your marks, get set, float. Some McDonald County High School students made waves with a boat building competition. They put their cardboard and duct tape watercraft to the test by trying to float across a pool with at least one person on board. That was the idea anyway. It didn't always work out that way. The entire project is to teach engineering principles, encourage creativity and teamwork, and of course in the process have some fun.
They have more fun and they're learning while they do it. It's that whole hidden learning activity thing, and they're supposed to be in summer anyway. You should have fun in summer, and if we can incorporate learning with fun, it's a great time to do that.
Today's race tested functionality and durability of the creations, and on a muggy June day, getting wet in the pool, well, that was an added bonus. Still ahead, a local charity makes a donation to the Special Olympics of Kansas, and a Missouri Southern baseball player gets named to the Division II Gold Glove team. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Janelle Smith Carson, who grew up in Fredonia, represented Team USA in the 400-meter dash at the 1964 Olympics. 4 years ago, she passed away, but her legacy is being carried on with a foundation in her name. The Janelle Smith Carson Foundation donates $1,500 to Special Olympics Kansas this afternoon. Janelle's brother, Meade Smith, and husband, Mike Carson, who's the athletic director at St. Mary's Colgan, represent the foundation and present the check. They say it's a great way to continue her legacy.
We have three things: cancer, Title IX scholarships for young women, and Special Olympics were three of her causes that she felt very passionate about.
This money means so much. It enables us to be able to provide shirts for the flag football that's coming here for state competitions, and also just to be able to support our athletes as they compete.
Missouri Southern shortstop Henry Kuziak is named to the American Baseball Coaches Association Division II Gold Glove team. The Lion senior had a fielding percentage of .988 this past season. On 242 chances, he had just 3 errors to go with 154 assists, 85 putouts, and 27 double plays. Kuziak is one of just 9 players from across all Division II schools to receive this year's Gold Glove Award. Over to collegiate summer baseball, the Outlaws finished a 2-game series against first-place Flying Bison tonight in Abilene. Joplin trailed 6-2 a couple innings ago, but ties it at 6-6 in the top of the 8th. That's the score right now. In Major League Baseball, the Royals and Cardinals both on the road today. KC has the second of 3 games against Oakland. St. Louis wraps up a 3-game series against the Marlins after losing on a walk-off in the 10th inning last night. Matthew Liberatore starts on the mound for the Cardinals, and he runs into some early trouble. First pitch of the day, swung on and crushed to left center, gone for a home run. Next batter, Jesus Sanchez, same results. Marlins go back-to-back and open up a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning. Cardinals would respond, though. In the 7th, they're down 3-2 until Paul Goldschmidt hits this one down the line to left. Mason Wynn hustles around from first. He's going to score. We're tied at 3 at that point. Next inning, sight for sore eyes for Cardinals fans. Nolan Arenado takes a pitch off the inside of his right elbow, goes down hard. He would leave the game after this pitch. And to add insult to injury, bottom of the 9th inning now, still tied. Similar to last night, Otto Lopez hits a line drive into right field. Alec Burleson just can't get a clean field on that. Marlins walk off the Cardinals for the second day in a row. Final score 4-3. Redbirds back at home to face the Giants tomorrow. In the American League, the Royals are in Oakland again tonight. Most recent check of that score is the A's winning 2-1 in the bottom of the 6th. KC got its lone run off of Bobby Witt Jr. double in the 5th. One more sports note, March Madness, the NCAA men's basketball tournament, apparently is looking into expanding today. Yahoo Sports reports to 4 to 8 teams the NCAA is looking at.
The odds of getting a perfect bracket were already astronomical.
They're even slimmer now.
I guess so. We'll be right back.
The moment.
Scientists have discovered the world's oldest known wine. How old is that, you ask? Well, try 2,000 years old. It was in a sealed tomb that a family discovered in 2019 when having work done to their home in the town of Carmona in Spain. The wine was in a glass funeral urn that had been remarkably well preserved. It also had a surprising ingredient, a man's ashes. Burying people with items that might help them in the afterlife was common in the Roman Empire. Really old wine.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd drink it.
No, I don't think you would be allowed to, so that's not a concern. The weather, it's hot.
Yeah, temperatures hanging out right around 90 as we go through the next couple days, and then we accelerate into the mid-90s as we head into the weekend.
Final sports note.
The Nevada Griffins, after a couple days off, they're back in action tomorrow. They have a doubleheader in Chillicothe.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.